You are here at the Diana Falzone Show, and this is Paltalk.com. The woman to my right is the incomparable nutritionist extraordinaire, Cynthia Sass. She is a New York Times bestselling author of The Flat Belly Diet, and now Cinch. You can cinch your waist, you can cinch all that belly fat, and she's here to tell you how to do so. You can check out Cynthia by going to Cynthia Sass, as in she's a sassy lady, at cynthiasass.com. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me here. It's great to be here.
I have so many questions for you. I honestly don't even know where to start. But just some fun trivia. You are a registered nutritionist, which means that you went through extensive schooling. And there are a lot of people out there who say that they're health experts, but necessarily don't have that educational background.
I had to take lots of science classes, the anatomy, physiology, biochemistry, organic chemistry, all these hardcore nutrition science classes, human metabolism, on and on. So it's several years of training. And I think the difference for someone like me, registered dietitian, versus someone who's more of an enthusiast is that I have a sort of a deeper, broader understanding of how you eat affects not only your weight, but everything from head to toe.
Right.
So there are things out there that you can do to lose weight that might not necessarily be the best for your immune system, your digestive system, healing. If you're, I work with a lot of athletes, so if you're looking to optimize your performance, there's really a lot to it.
Right.
So a lot of people just think like, oh, it's easy, you just eat less, exercise more, you just eat smaller portions, but there's a lot more to know.
Well, I think that a lot of guys out there and a lot of sport fan enthusiasts would be excited to know that Cynthia is actually the on-staff nutritionist for the New York Rangers and the Phillies, I believe?
That I worked for the Phillies for a couple of years now. I've worked with the Tampa Bay Rays.
Ooh.
Yeah, and the Rangers.
And the Rangers. So that's pretty cool. So she's the inside scoop on what they're eating, what they should be eating, and so on and so on. She's like that cool kind of aunt that guides them through their kitchens, so to speak. But you'll give the real deal on food, and I think that you and I were just discussing this before the show started, that there's so many Hollywood starlets that are underweight, that are doing things in order to look a certain way, but really their overall health is being affected. And I have friends that are in their 20s and 30s who go, I have to be in a bikini, 4th of July weekend's coming up, I'm just not going to eat this entire week. I'm thinking, that's not really going to work. So what is so detrimental about people slicing down their calories to almost a nominal or minimal amount?
Well, it would be truly awesome if you cut your calorie intake and your body responded by just mobilizing body fat. If that was the case, we would all just stop eating until we got down to like 5% body fat, and then we would be healthy. But it doesn't work that way. So what happens is if you deprive your body of what it needs for fueling your cells and for repairing and healing your cells, those jobs just don't get done. So literally, these nutrients don't show up for work, and what they do inside the body, there's no compensation. Basically, your body literally starts to deteriorate. So even within a couple days' time, even within a week of like a crash diet, your immune system gets run down. Your hair and skin are constantly being regenerated and repaired because the cells have a very short lifespan. So if you don't have the raw materials to do that kind of work, by the end of 1 week's time, I've seen clients, their immune system gets run down to the point where if they're prone to cold sores, they get a cold sore.
Wow.
Their skin starts to look really dry and sort of like gray looking. Their body is just kind of like an old house that isn't being maintained.
Right.
Kind of starts to fall into disrepair. So the trick is, if you're trying to slim down, if you do have a little bit of extra body fat to get rid of, you want to eat enough to support all the cells that you want to keep, your bone, your organs, your muscle, your immune system, but you don't want to eat enough to feed those fat cells that you're trying to shrink.
Okay.
So it's really a delicate balance, and a lot of people go too far on the negative side.
Right. Well, what's interesting, too, is that people go through fad diets, as you were talking about, and there's so many out there, the South Beach diet, the Atkins diet, and all of them, I'm sure, have been proven to help you lose weight, but not every person is going to be cut out for that kind of diet. So what do you recommend for somebody who is looking to, let's say, drop body fat or drop some weight, and they say, I'm going to go the Atkins diet? Is there things they should be really wary of?
Well, the one thing that I always ask people is, do you think you can do this for the rest of your life?
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people say, well, I'm not trying to do it for the rest of my life. I just want to do it until I lose the weight.
Right.
But the problem with that is as soon as you stop doing whatever you did to lose the weight, you will gain it all back.
And more sometimes, right?
Usually more. So in my private practice, I see clients one-on-one, and I can't tell you the number of different diets that people have been on. And when I ask them, what was it about this diet that you couldn't keep doing,
mm-hmm.
whatever that answer is, don't go down that road again. Mm-hmm. If it was cutting out carbs and you got to the point where you were so miserable and irritable and cranky and moody and, you know, people have trouble sleeping when they cut out carbs, if they just couldn't handle it anymore and they ended up binge eating on bread or pasta or cereal or whatever it was, don't try a no-carb diet or a very low-carb diet again, because you're going to go down the same path.
I have a friend who did, I believe, the Atkins diet, and he said he actually replaced any kind of sexual fantasy that he would have in a dream with fantasies of eating bread.
Yeah.
He said, like, slow-motion sort of dream-like sequences where he'd be just eating bread, and he said, I'll never do that again.
That's not unusual. I've actually heard that from other people too.
Really?
Whether it be
that happens?
Whether it be fruit or pasta or, you know, whatever it happens to be that you're depriving yourself of. I've had people say that they like daydream about it. They dream about it at night. It's like a fantasy that they you know, think about when they could possibly cheat a little bit. Mm-hmm. And they, you know, and so if you're having that kind of a reaction to the way you're eating, not good.
Right. We have our first caller, Jeff in Oregon. Hi, Jeff.
Hey, Diana, how are you? It's good seeing you and your friend.
Cynthia.
Hey, Sassy. Question for you. I'm an athlete, and I just want to know what you like to eat, because I do Special Olympics. Diana knows I...
Yes.
Oh, great. Okay. Well, in my new book, I have a strategy where every meal is constructed as a puzzle with 5 pieces. And this is exactly what I use with my male athlete clients, except they get larger portions than some of the women I work with who are trying to lose weight. But the 5-piece puzzle is the key. So there's no counting calories, points, grams, anything like that. Mm-hmm. All you want to make sure is that you have small portions of each of these 5 pieces. So the first piece is produce. Fruit or vegetable. That is an absolute must. If you added up all the servings of fruit and vegetables that the average American should have eaten mm-hmm. but didn't eat over their lifetime, it would fill up an entire football field.
Really?
Yeah. So isn't that terrible? So those are all of your major
wow.
nutrients and antioxidants. Those are crucial for everyone, but especially for people who are athletic. The next piece is whole grain. 90% of Americans fall short of the minimum recommended servings of whole grain.
How much is that?
Well, the minimum serving's 3 a day, and
okay.
a serving would be about a half a cup of cooked, let's say, wild rice or quinoa. I love quinoa. I eat it hot or cold.
Oh, I don't even know what that is.
Oh, it's so delicious. It's a whole grain. It's very fluffy, and it's extremely high in antioxidants, and it's also high in protein, so wow. a little bonus protein there, too. Then you have to have lean protein. We use a lot of course, fish and chicken, with the Rangers and other athletes, very, very lean red meats as well, and very, very lean pork tenderloin. But of course, it could also be a vegetarian protein like lentils or tofu. Mm-hmm. The next piece would be plant-based fat, so things like extra virgin olive oil, nuts and seeds, avocado,
Ooh.
Natural nut butters. And then the last piece is actually called SAS, and it stands for Slimming and Satiating Seasonings. And these are things like fresh herbs and spices, citrus juice and zest, vinegar, hot peppers. I also use green tea as a seasoning.
Oh.
So just to give an example of a meal that puts all these 5 pieces together, you take whatever vegetables that you like, mushrooms, onions, peppers, tomatoes, saute that in some extra virgin olive oil with some garlic, maybe some cracked black pepper, some basil. Throw in any kind of lean protein you like, shrimp, chicken, and then put it over a bed of it could even be cooked quinoa, mm-hmm. and for those who aren't familiar, most grocery stores do carry that now. Or whole wheat penne would be another great thing to put a small, put that over. All you have to know is that, your meal is not complete unless all 5 pieces are there. And I have 100 recipes in the book that use the 5-piece puzzle strategy.
I'm so excited for this, and I think that was very helpful for Jeff and any other athletes that are out there. I mean, I think what's interesting about diet is it's so connected to how you feel overall, and especially if you have like symptoms. Like I realized the past 2 weeks I keep getting terrible migraines. same point every single day, and I'm like, this must, talking to you now, I'm having an epiphany. I'm like, this must be connected to some sort of my diet.
Hydration is a big factor when it comes to headaches and migraines. There are also certain foods that can trigger, if you're prone to headaches, that can trigger them. And a lot of those are aged foods. Sometimes, you know, if someone eats a cured meat like pepperoni or sausage or salami or something like that.
Or like a lean cuisine or one of those ready-made meals.
Well, you know, sometimes some of those preservatives can be really affecting people, their mood and the way that they, you know, I've had clients go from eating processed foods, which I don't recommend, to eating a very clean diet, things like I just described where you're just sort of assembling whole foods and putting them together in ways that really taste well. And they have gotten rid of symptoms like headaches and bloating and sluggish digestive system, and they sleep better, they have more energy, they think more clearly.
Wow.
It's amazing just in a couple of days' time how you can really transform. And also your taste buds. Things, if you have been used to eating a lot of sweet and salty things, even within 3 to 5 days' time, if you kind of cut that out, your taste buds change to the point where you really appreciate the natural sweetness of things like fruit. And if you eat something again that you used to eat before, it tastes incredibly salty or sugary to you. So you're really, your body can adapt very quickly.
I'm going to take the cinch challenge, which I'm calling it the cinch challenge myself, and going to change my diet and honestly do at least a first week of your recipes and see if I can get rid of these headaches. I honestly think I'm not someone who necessarily, I don't eat terribly, but I don't eat, let's say, to the level of how Cynthia would want her clients to eat. And I think one of the reasons why I haven't gained weight is I'm not someone who enjoys the fruity beverages. I don't drink fruit juices. I'm not into drinking Gatorade or Nestea or anything like that, or going to Starbucks. I really just like water and coffee and herbal teas. And I think that's why I've kind of managed my weight. And walking in New York. I don't go to a gym, but I'll walk 40 blocks in a day and feel pumped up and toned. And I'm like, how did I get a bicep?
Well, they say the average New Yorker walks 5 miles a day.
Yeah. No, I think that does make a difference. So those little things really can, I think, impact your overall health and well-being. Wow, that was so helpful. I think we could probably talk about this for another 3 hours, actually. But unfortunately, we can't. But you can find out more about Cynthia and more about her nutritional guides on cynthiasass.com. You can purchase Cinch on Amazon.com or BarnesandNoble.com, as well as Flat Belly Diet, which gives you all the instructions on how you can get rid of that stubborn bloat or that little bit of pudge that won't go away as we're in the summer months, so that's important. And also you can follow her on Twitter and also be her Facebook friend, and that's cynthiasass.com. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. It was awesome.
So informative. I mean, I'm going to do the Cinch Challenge. Seriously, I'm all about becoming more. It's not even about the weight, just about nutrition.
Yeah, clean eating.
Clean eating. I'm a clean person. Now I'm going to eat clean. Thanks again, Cynthia.
Thank you.
We'll see you guys this Thursday with a special guest who's going to let us know what happened at the UN last week for International Widows Day. All right, we'll see you guys soon. Have a great day.